Southwest cannot dictate to the Northern region what belongs to the North, lawmaker says. According to a news that is published by the Leadership newspaper online this morning, it was reported that a lawmaker in the House of Representatives, who spoke under the condition of anonymity, of course, and in confidence while talking to leadership correspondents, has said that the Southern region cannot dictate for the Northern region over the leadership of the House. The lawmaker says this to taunt Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, who has been accused of imposing Honorable Tajuddin Abbas on the House of Representatives member as the Speaker of the 10th Assembly. The lawmaker said, "All we want is that we in the House of Representatives, we elect our leader by ourselves. It can't be anyone, but certainly not. It can be anyone, but certainly not Tajuddin Abbas, because the Southwest cannot dictate to the Northern region what belongs to the North. Initially, we thought we must protect the APC, but it does appear that our party is not prepared to protect itself. It has failed in being and has caved into Gbajabiamila and his boys." It was, however, gathered that the opposition lawmakers, especially of the PDP, were weighing their prospects of springing a surprise nomination as a PDP source who stated this. However, but they noted that they were still watching how the APC goes about resolving zoning arrangements and whether it can carry all stakeholders along. And this is basically our problem, because I think we look to the presidential state and office to make major changes, when in the House of Representatives, basically the legislative system, is where most changes are made. And then you see the caliber of individuals and the way that they think. And so rather than putting our head in the sand and having the same repetitive, boring, counterproductive conversation of how can you say that? You sound so entitled. It's such a useless conversation to engage in identity politics and tribal politics at this time. These are people that cannot even lead their political parties, and they go into a place where they're meant to be making laws and are still fighting for who is represented. So I think this identity thing is becoming such a big issue, whether it's along tribal lines or religious lines or regional lines. It's like, why do we attach ourselves to an identity so bad that we forget to think of our responsibilities or why we are there, right? And you can see it in the tribal tensions. You can see it even in the House of Representatives. These individuals, you can tell that at the first of their priority is to represent themselves, represent their region, represent the political parties, and make sure it's equal and fair. So by the time they sort this out, which they never sort out, because the 4 years in their positions will be having the same conversations. So when is it priority to think about the people and the policies you should make? So when you have leaders that basically are not progressive in their thinking, how in this day and age, this is what you're talking about as a leader? And we are surprised as to why we regress. The people that we put to think for us or think and represent us on our behalves, this is how they behave. They behave like children. It's like, why are we having a conversation? How can the South determine what belongs to the North? What belongs to the North? And I think because we are so divided and we want power, it's like we want to be represented for the wrong reasons, just because we want to show that we are there. Impact, nowhere to be found. And so it makes it tiring, because it's like, how long would we have conversations along these lines? The APC and PDP still fighting on who has more seats or who is more represented, or, which tribe has a key role. Let's look at the comment section and what Nigerians are saying. The first comment says, "You guys have not seen anything. The Yorubas will make sure they claim Nigeria and give it to whoever they want to give. Please, but you North can decide what belongs to the Southwest, because you claim that you're born to rule." Animalistic talk. And we blame the kangaroo amalgamation in 1914 that brought this nonsense to the Southwest. How can a male civilized region open their cavity to vomit such a nonsense? And I think even after that, we were so divided that you have regions, you break them into states, that states are even struggling to identify with a region. So I really don't understand. For 8 years, Buhari ruled Nigeria as if no other region matters, and if other tribes were less than cows, and as if other tribes were less than cows in value. Tinubu spent barely just a month in there, and the same North are already complaining. I trust the Yorubas in the history of this country. They have always produced the best amongst the areas of leadership. The worst leaders always come from the North. Please forget about leadership and go into farming. Please, my northern people, you have no wisdom to even lead your own family, let alone the whole country. We all can't lead ourselves. I think we need to stop conversations of tribal stereotypes of who can lead or who cannot lead. We've proven to ourselves in the last how many years that we cannot coexist. We definitely cannot lead. We are definitely not organized, and we lack integrity. And corruption is literally, at this point, part of the makeup of a Nigerian. And it's very sad because when we're looking to progress, these kind of conversations you just cannot have, because again, why? What is the impact? What is the reason? What does it do for you? Nothing. Anyways, let's look at more comments. And this person says, check out the aggrieved senators. They are mostly Hausa Fulanis that are out there to protect their Boko Haram Fulanis and kidnappers. Kidnapping has become a business to them. Even going back to the whole kidnapping, banditry situation, especially when students were being kidnapped, and what you had as a nation that is meant to be powerful is your nation negotiating with terrorists for the lives of its people. And you find that countries like America, or especially America, because America tends to be very assertive when it comes to showing their power in the military as well. So if you now find that an American, I think there's been several stories of Americans getting lost in the North. What we're finding there, I don't know. But you find that they'd be rescued first. And then in that same forest where we fail to rescue our own. So it's like, it's so sad, because then one conversation leads to the deficiency in another, and we realize how messed up things are. And then you realize that the lawmakers are now having conversations about who is represented, really. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.